Hello and welcome to day 9 of my video challenge. Yes, today I even know what number video I am on, so go me. It's the small wins, isn't it, that we celebrate, as well as all the big ones. So, those of you who know me really well know I don't do cities. One of the reasons why I liked living in Oxford and why I liked living in Sheffield is because there's lots of greenery. I could head up into Headington and go get on a rowboat or a punt, or just go into one of many parks. Oxford was like a little village. Sheffield was like a big village, and I had the Peak District on my doorstep and woodlands all around where I lived. So I was always out in nature. Sheffield is probably the biggest village in all of England. Everyone knows each other's business. Everybody, well, anyway, Sheffield politics aside. Because I have some very dear friends who live there. One day I might surprise them all and go back, but you know, that means I'd have to go back into England and have to go through an airport, which is very unlikely. I said to my friend the other day, I'd rather swim back across the Atlantic than fly and go through airports. But one of the things I noticed today while I was walking around here in San Jose, which really upset me, was the amount of fear that everybody's living in. Now, I've been by the beach or in the mountains for a very long time. And other than Panama, which is completely crazy, like Panama City, everyone is so majorly paranoid about this whole pandemic thing. Like not just wearing a single mask, but double and triple wearing them with the visor. And I'm surprised they've not even got beekeeper suits out, to be honest. That was really scary. That energy was really dark and really gnarly. But it's a different kind of fear here. And it reminded me of my mother-in-law. I was not afraid of her. Not always, anyway. When she moved to England, she put bars on the window, like prison bars, I called them. And what worried me was if there was ever a fire, how would we get out? Where I'm staying is a lovely area. There's some of the people I've met today on my walk around, really lovely. And the family I'm staying with, oh my days, they're so welcoming. And when you're away from home and you're a digital nomad, staying as a guest in someone's home, not only is it an honour and a privilege, but it's also a blessing because you get to see and you get to be around the family energy. Tio is just absolutely adorable. I love having my little chats with her as I'm passing through the kitchen and I'm making tea and she's making this delicious food and I'm like, oh my God, why don't I eat meat? Why don't I eat wheat? Oh my God, the dish she cooked yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I want to stick my face in it. Smelled absolutely gorgeous. But everywhere there are bars. There is razor blades on barbed wire on the top of these bars. And it was shocking for me because like I said, I spend most of my time on the beach or I spend most of my time in the mountains where this doesn't happen. And it's one of the reasons why I don't like being in cities because everyone is so afraid of one another. Everyone is just living in fear and rushing around all the time and just I just want to say, tranquila, por favor, tranquila. And some of you know I'm working towards my PhD in human rights and social justice. And one of the things that I don't know if he'll end up being my final professor, probably. But one of the things that we discussed was what was it going to be on? Which element of human rights and social justice was I going to focus on, especially being a coach? Looking at women's rights, and I've got my TED talk coming up soon. I say soon. We're at the very start of preparing for it. And I've been in Latin America now for 3.5 years. And to be honest with you, being here in Costa Rica, surrounded by so many Americans, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to go to America. I want to stay in Latin America. And it reminds me so much of the Arab world here. You know, family is so important, community is so important. So I asked the question, why is everybody so afraid of one another? And why does every house that I walk by have bars on it? I mean, I know that it's because of crime, but really? You need to go to that extreme that every time you go outside of your front door, every time you look out of your window, you see bars? That's really sad. I'm going to cry in a minute. Bugger. So, I've been travelling by myself around the world for 5 years now. Solo woman, redhead. As you can see, I was blonde, but I wanted to reclaim my redhead, my auburnness. My brother's really ginger. He won't like me for saying that, but he is really ginger. He hated it. My friend Anna at school was, her ginger was amazing. And Lara Wells, my coach, who's kicking my ass big time, love her colour. Anyway, redheads aside. But I've been travelling by myself as a single woman all this time, and all I've met with are some really beautiful people that will do anything to help you, and that will invite you into their homes. They'll welcome you. They'll help you across the road. They, like, even the taxi drivers in Colombia, they will get out of their car and they will go to the cash point with you, and then they will walk you back to the car and help you get in. And they don't just do it for women, they do it for men. And again, it's showing a level of fear that's here in Latin America. But the amount of TV that people watch is insane. And I know there's a lot of drug cartels in and around Central America, and I know that some of my friends are worried about me, and I know that my ex-husband is really proud of me and has been singing my praises to our boys because apparently I'm really courageous. But for me, I just see it's just another place to go. I see the danger, but it doesn't register. But yeah, the amount of fear that people have of each other, it's been indoctrinated into us by governments and television. And like, when are we as human beings going to reclaim our sovereignty and reclaim the fact that we can trust each other, that we are all just doing our best, and that we are just all wonderful human beings that really wouldn't do anything to hurt anyone? And if we see people that live on the streets, when I was in Argentina, this is something that I told my friend Brittany off about, because she gets out of bed in the morning and she doesn't make her bed. So Brittany, if you're watching, I'm talking to you again on this. Because here in Costa Rica, in San Jose, I've even seen the homeless making their beds like the homeless did in Argentina, in Brazil, and in Colombia. There is no reason why you should not make your bed in the morning. Now, call me old-fashioned, and I know I am, but making your bed in the morning and having a family lunch where you're all together discussing things as a family, having a family meeting, as it were. How's your day going? What have you got planning for later? What's happening? Are you okay? Like, let's just talk and have a family breakfast together and an evening meal together. Starts the day and ends the day beautifully. Like I said, I'm old-fashioned. I like card games and board games as well. But I've decided that my PhD, I am going to be going into El Salvador and Guatemala, which is frightening a lot of my friends. You're just a Looney Tune dawn on there, probably. I've been thinking about going into Honduras and Belize, but we'll see where I end up and where the winds take me, as I say. And I will be going into Mexico and into Cuba. Which order they'll all be in, I have no idea. But I just wish that people would just trust and believe in themselves and each other a bit more. I know I need to believe in myself more, but one of the things I'm going to focus on with my PhD is I'm going to make the focus on Latin America, here in Latin America. And to help me, I have enlisted Mr. Ricardo Gonzalez, Senor Ricardo Gonzalez, as my professor. By the end of in 1 year's time, I will be fluent in Spanish enough to be able to write and deliver speeches UN level for the Hispanic Chambers of Commerce and TEDx talks around the world and TED talks. And I want to be able to write my own books and my own theses in Spanish, because the things I've learned about the Latinos is that they're a really beautiful bunch of people, and just like the Arabs. And once I finish my Spanish, I will be revisiting my Arabic language studies, because then I really want to look at how the Latin world and the Arab world, I want to do a study and write something on those. And because they are probably two of the most misunderstood ethnic groups around the world. Arabs are really lovely people, and the amount of ignorance and racism and prejudice that I have heard on my travels around the world to do with Arabs has hurt me deeply, especially as I'm Khalid and my children are of Arabic descent. So I have some pretty big goals. But they all come from love. And for me, when I work with my authors, when I work with any of my clients, it's what's your biggest badass dream? What is the biggest impact that you can make, and how can we make it happen? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it around to all of you today. Now you've seen me get all emotional. And I do have scared a US Marine who told me I was scarier than an army sergeant in 2 tours of Iraq, Jake Cosme. If you haven't read his book, go read it. It's called The Recipe, a US Marine's Mindset to Success. Great book. Wasn't going to be at the beginning, was it, Jake? But anyway, it's on my website, dawnbates.com/Jake Cosme. Go read it. If you work with veterans and you want to order bulk copies for your veterans, then send me an email through the website, dawnbates.com/contact, and we can arrange for you to have copies for all your veterans that you work with. And Jake's available for hire as well. So yeah, I'm pimping Jake out. I don't know why I was going on to that, but yeah, I am a softie. I do want to make positive impact in the world, and I am a badass. I own that bit. But I don't want people to be afraid of one another. There's no need for all these bars on the window and all the security systems, surely. I'm not that naive. I can't be that naive. I just think we've all been indoctrinated to fear so much about each other and the world we live in. And when I've been traveling, and I've been in Manaus in Amazonas, and I've been in a place called Tabatinga, Leticia, and Santa Rosa, which is where Colombia, Peru, and Brazil meet. And it's a borderless, lawless town. And I saw some really horrific things going on. You read about that in one of my books, in The Mermaid's Guide. But yeah, there is evil in the world, but not to the extent that we think it is. And if the governments did their fucking jobs properly, and the politicians weren't all about their own greed and blowing each other up like they're some childish little dickhead, excuse my language, but not really, in the sandpit because so-and-so stole my toy, and they all started to grow up and actually see the bigger picture that they're destroying a beautiful planet and they're destroying a lot of people's lives just for their own greed. Yeah, and I'm speaking to the people who own everything, the top 3 companies in the world, and those of you who are awake will know who I'm talking about, and they probably won't be watching this, but hey, you never know, they might be. But we have all got to rise up together, and we've all got to be stronger together and start believing in each other and trusting each other, because until we do that, the governments and the evils of this world will continue. So if you want to write a book, or you want me to write your biography, or you want to get a group of people together to whistleblow on something or do some kind of activism, then know that I am that coach for you. And I will help you get that book published in all of its rawness, in all of its power. The menopause book is coming to fruition, so is 51Ps. I've got 2 spaces available for one-on-one coaching. So if you want to be on that space, then let me know. We got work to do in this world. I'm not going to stop until I pop my clogs, as my mother says. I don't wear clogs. I don't wear shoes, full stop, really, if I can help it. But anyway, you know what I mean. But I'm sending you all so much love from here in San Jose in Costa Rica. I'm going to go have a cup of tea. So take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Believe in each other and trust each other. And we've got this. We've so got this. Ciao.